I'm Sara Davies from Crafter's Companion, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful card here, and it's using our Floral Delight collection from the Sara Signature series. So we're going to create the wonderful background using the lattice design, and I'm going to put behind one of the papers from the paper pad that also comes within the range. We've used the stamps to create the greeting, and then I've done some craft card die cutting and created my own flowers using some of the flower creator dies from this collection. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that. So if we start off, I'm going to start actually with the die cutting pieces. So I'm die cutting using the cut and emboss machine, but these will work universally with all the different machines that are out there on the market. Now the sandwich for your cut and emboss is your big D plate at the bottom, then your magnetic plate and your B plate, and then we're going to cut into the A plate. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of craft card and I'm going to cut into the craft card with the trellis. So I'm just lining the trellis up perfectly in the centre. Now when you've got quite intricate dies like this, if you wanted, you could add in the metal adapter plate, which is available to use with the cut and emboss. You don't need to, it just sometimes means you'll get a crisper cut the first time round. Now I'm also going to use a beautiful patterned floral paper that we've got, and I'm going to cut my flowers into that floral paper. So I'm using the floral designs here, cutting into here, and then I've got a little piece of craft card and I'm going to cut in some of the fabulous swirls from the Flourish die collection as well. And the great thing about having a large platform is we can do all of that die cutting at once, okay? So I'm going to offer that now into the machine, and with the cut and emboss it is as simple as you do literally offer it into the machine, and then the machine automatically feeds it and does all the die cutting for you. Now all of these dies are cut and embossed dies, which means the first time you pass them through the machine, which is now, they're going to cut, then you can pass them through a second time and it'll add on the embossed detail as well. So if I lift these out, it's not necessarily with all of your dies, but with all of the ones in the signature range, it's nice to have that embossing detail. So if I lift this off, you can see there that lattice has cut absolutely beautifully because we've added the metal adapter plate in there. Now there's no embossing I need to do on that design because all the pieces lift out. If I do take out the flowers, you can see with the flowers and the swirls, it literally has just cut them for me. So if I take out the metal adapter plate and also the magnetic sheet, and I add in the rubber mat, and then I can offer them through the machine another time. And what it'll do now is it'll push the fibres of the cardstock into each one of those pieces in the die. So if we lift this out, what I'm going to do is if you notice, I'm holding the die and lifting the card away from the die, because what that will do is that will minimise the amount of pieces we have to poke out. So can you see, they will now be left, instead of being left in here to poke out, they're left in my die, which is much easier to use one of the Tool-It-Alls to clean them out. So there is my background trellis. I can also lift out, and now you'll be able to see these die cut pieces. Now, oh, that one's already stuck. If I show you that there, can you see how it has embossed the little flat pieces on that die? What I'm actually going to do is lie it back in the die, because I want to colour into it as well. I want to use it as a stencil. So I've got one of the Tim Holtz Distress Inks. This is the Stormy Sky. And I'm just inking through the die. And this is using that die as a stencil. And by inking through, we end up with colour just where the embossed detail is. So I can do the same in the smaller one. So if I show you the difference now when we lift this out. Oh, that's just going to fall out. There we go. You can see it's added colour there into the centre part of my flower. And it'll have done the same on the smaller flower as well. And they are beautiful, really detailed floral designs. So if I show you how we're going to make these into flowers, I'm just going to shape the petals a little bit. I'm going to do the same on the smaller one. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the Collal tacky glue. Now anytime you're wanting to stick things together, the tacky glue takes very, very quickly. But also the other great thing about the tacky glue is, there we go, we only need a tiny amount. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the glue and put it in the centre. I can work with different materials. So I'm going to position that small flower inside my larger one. But then I've got a pearl that I want to put in the centre too. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more glue and dab it in the centre. Make sure you put the lid on the glue as well. And then I've got a lovely big pearl that I'm just going to add into the centre there of my flower. And I'll pop that to one side to dry while we make up the rest of the card. So the swirls as well, and the craft card look fabulous with these swirls. They just lift out of the craft card. And again, just poking these out now, you can see the detail that we get. And you can see we've got all this embossed detail on them as well, which is everywhere you've got the holes on the other side of the die, it's going to give you beautiful embossed detailing. Now we're ready to put it all together. So I just need to choose a nice backing paper. And I chose quite a pale one on the other card. And I think I'll choose, there's a nice blue one, which will look lovely in the background design here. Now what you will notice is, as I flick through this pad, we've given you lots of beautiful designs, and a lot of them are using that craft card style on the background there. So it's that real kind of country garden style that is going to work with your designs. And you can see the designs on the front of the pad there. So what we need to do is cut a piece of this paper, which is smaller than our trellis because it's going to go behind the trellis. So just slightly smaller than the trellis design. There we go. And you have got the outside edge, because I did cut this slightly larger than what the trellis die was. So this is just going to lie perfectly behind there. And then that will mount onto the front of my card. So you see the difference there. I used a pale colour on this one and a darker colour here just to show you the difference that we could achieve. Now if you wanted an all over stick, you could use something like a Xyron machine, or you could use the Stick It so that you just got adhesive exactly where you wanted it to appear. There we go. So there's our trellis in the background, which looks fantastic. And then what I'm going to do is to stick the flowers on, and I've actually done 5 of these flowers ready. And then obviously we've got the one that we've just made now. I'm going to just create a bit of a montage down the bottom corner. And I've also used the stamp collection here to stamp and just mount up a little sentiment saying thinking of you. So when we're doing 3D work like this, I like to use the 3D glue gel. So I'm going to start off by positioning on the thinking of you. Now the 3D glue gel, it's better than using foam pads in this instance because it's going to allow you to manoeuvre these if they're not quite where you want them to appear. So I'm going to take some of these little swirls. And again, the 3D glue gel, it does what it says on the tin. If you want any 3D work, this is the one to go for because it means you can raise up all of the pieces on your project. If you just wanted it flat, I would recommend using the tacky glue that we used earlier. So just sitting that into place. And then I've got another one to take us down the bottom there as well. And the die cutting really is the only time consuming piece of this card. Even though it looks really detailed, that's all achieved with that beautiful lattice die, doing all the hard work for you. Right, so we'll position that one going up the side of our card. Then it's just a case of manoeuvring these flowers into place. So I'm just shaping all of my leaves and putting globules onto the back of each one of these flowers, ready to line up. And there's a couple of different builder flower dies in this collection. And I just feel like, you know, it's great to buy paper flowers, but it can get really expensive. If you invest in the die once, then you can make as many paper flowers in any range as you like, really easily. So we've got those built up, and I'm just going to start in the bottom corner and then build up the side. I'm just going to turn that round just to make sure that they're all covering over each other perfectly. We'll take that one down a little bit to cover over where this starts. And it really is just about manoeuvring these into position. And it's actually quite fun and therapeutic. I'm going to lift that one back out and have it over the top a little bit. And I'm just going to twist them to make sure that nothing is moving over the bottom part of the card. There we go, just so you can read my thinking of you there. So everything will just push up a little bit so that the card is going to stand proud still. And there you have it, really elegant, very simple, nice thinking of you card.